All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll call this regular commission meeting to order. Today's date is November 10th, time is approximately 7 p.m. Our first item is the approval of the agenda. A request a motion to approve the agenda. You guys are in concert. This is going to be a great night. I'll give it to Coleman for first and Long on the second. Any discussion on the agenda? Any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. All right, I'm going to ask Naeem Urched, Youth Minister for Queen of Peace Catholic Church, to do our invocation tonight. Stand if you can. Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, good evening. If we could bow our heads. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessings of this day and for the opportunity to gather as a community in service and stewardship. We ask your presence in this room tonight, guide every discussion, every decision, and every word spoken. Grant our commissioners wisdom rooted in truth, patience in disagreements, and clarity in purpose. May they lead with humility, compassion, and courage, always seeking what is best for our community and the people who call it home. Bless those who serve our city, our first responders, our teachers, and our volunteers. We ask that you protect the families and businesses that make this community strong. Remind us that leadership is service and that every act done with integrity brings light to those we serve. May peace, unity, and understanding prevail in all we do tonight. We ask this in the precious name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hoorah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Naeem. All right, the first presentation we have here tonight is the proclamation for Veterans Day. And I will read that into the record. Whereas the city of Newberry proudly joins communities across the nation in honoring those brave people who have served in the United States Armed Forces, defending our country with courage, loyalty, and sacrifice. And whereas we recognize that freedoms and security we enjoy today were secured by those who have answered the call to serve, and we express our deepest gratitude to them and to their families for their unwavering dedication. And whereas the city of Newberry is strengthened by the veterans who live and serve among us, leaders, mentors, and neighbors who continue to embody the values of service, integrity, and community. And whereas on Veterans Day, we must take the opportunity to say thank you to our veterans and active duty forces, never forgetting their valor and dedication as they deserve our honor and respect. And whereas the city of Newberry invites all residents to join in honoring our veterans at the Veterans Day ceremony to be held at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, November 11th, 2025 at the Newberry Veterans Memorial, as we pay tribute to their service and reaffirm our shared commitment to freedom and our constitutional republic. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Newberry, I do hereby declare that Tuesday, November 11th, 2025, as Veterans Day in the city of Newberry, and encourage all residents to recognize and honor the service and sacrifice of our veterans and to rededicate ourselves to the preservation of our liberties and the pursuit of lasting peace, in witness whereof I hereunto set my hand this 10th day of November 2025. All right. Sound good? We'll see you all at the Veterans Memorial tomorrow at 9 a.m. Oh, perfect. What's that? Our second presentation is Building Strong Community Awards. And Dallas Lee, you're going to walk us through this.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners. Proud to present you guys with the Building Strong Communities Award. This award is annually given out by the Florida Municipal Electric Association in honor of communities who go above and beyond for their community. I will read the plaque for you and give you some examples of what we won for, and then I'll present the plaque to the mayor. So it says, Building Strong Communities Award. This certificate is proudly presented to the city of Newberry in recognition of the outstanding programs and services they provide to their community in the advancement of the goals and ideals of public power. So just some of the things that we have done this year that go above and beyond typical power industry. We built a Newberry Veterans Memorial. We implemented the Promise program, which helped more than 50 families in the community in need. We did the downtown mural, the MLK mural. We have the My Citizen, the My City program, our firefighters visiting the Greenfield Preschool, the Christmas events, the African American Cemetery restoration, and our Career Day, amongst many others. So with that, I am happy to present this to you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Tim.
Got enough stuff up here already. All right, thank you very much. Public announcements, these are 2 minutes, non-controversial stuff from the public, yard sale, event stuff, etc. Don't everybody jump at once. Fall festival, Friday, Saturday. Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Mazon, a second from Commissioner Farnsworth. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, unanimous. Moving right along. Okay, public hearing and ordinances, economic development ad valorem tax exemption ordinance. This is second reading. Madam Attorney, you have that ready to go?
I do. Mr. Mayor, this is ordinance number 2025-73, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, granting an exemption from certain ad valorem taxation for Project Hydro, a new business, providing a short title, providing for definitions of terms, providing for a finding that all of the requirements applicable to the granting of such exemption have been met, providing for the amount of revenue available from ad valorem tax sources for the current fiscal year, providing for the amount of revenue lost by virtue of the economic development ad valorem tax exemptions currently in effect, providing for the estimated revenue loss attributable to the exemption granted to Project Hydro, providing for the period of time for which the exemption will remain in effect, and the expiration of the date of exemption, providing for the requirements associated with granting and for continuation of such an exemption, providing for applicability, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to put on the floor?
So moved.
Commissioner Long has the motion and Commissioner Farnsworth on the second. Any discussion from the dais? Any further discussion from the public on the second reading? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The motion has passed. That is ordinance 2573. Item number 7, final plat and waiver of Quarry Field subdivision. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. So I've got a little script I'm going to read through on this. We are entering quasi-judicial procedure. This means that the commission will stop being a legislative body and become a judicial board, which means that we have to follow certain rules and adhere to a different standard of decision-making. Primary rule we must follow concerns testimony, and the substantial and competent evidence standard must be met when the judicial board makes a decision. The standard states the following, quote, all public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence. The giving of opinion testimony is limited to experts. Closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record. Now I'm going to ask the city attorney to read into the record the ordinance or resolution by title and number.
Mr. Mayor, this is resolution number 2025-54, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Newberry, Florida, granting a waiver from Appendix B, Article 5, Section 5.14.1b and c, City of Newberry Code of Ordinances, and approving the final plat entitled Quarry Fields consisting of 40 acres, more or less, as authorized by Section 5.18 of the City of Newberry Land Development Regulations in an agricultural zoning district on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, Florida, identified as Alachua County parcel numbers 04155-001-000 and 04155-001-001, more particularly described in Exhibit A, repealing all resolutions in conflict and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. And at this point, I'm going to ask the clerk to swear in the applicant, staff, and any participants requesting to speak. They may be collectively sworn in.
Please raise your right hand and state your name.
Paul Perez.
Stacy Mackis.
Brian Murphy.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth? And you always swear.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before we begin, we need to disclose any ex parte communications, to disclose whether any member physically inspected the property. Ex parte communications are any conversations or transmission of information that may have bearing or influence on any member's voting decision. I'll start with my immediate right. Commissioner Mazon?
I have none.
Commissioner Long?
None.
Commissioner Farnsworth? Commissioner Coleman?
None.
And I do not either, although I'm a non-voting voice here. Now I'll go through the order presentation. We will follow for this quasi-judicial item before us tonight. Presentation order begins with the staff overview, then the applicant may present their application, no time limit. Staff report and recommendation will also be included. I've not been contacted by any third-party interveners. We'll be following that with public comment. In the applicant, the party interveners and/or the staff will be subject to cross-examination. Members of the decision-making body through the chair will be able to ask questions of the staff, applicant, or participants. Final argument may be made by any of the participating applicant or staff solely to the evidence and testimony presented at the hearing and introduced into the record. The city attorney will advise the decision-making body as to the applicable law and factual findings. We will deliberate the application. After deliberations, a vote will be taken to approve with conditions, continue, or deny the application. Jean-Paul, you're up for your overview.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You
John
have the
Paul.
floor.
Thank you, sir. John Paul Perez, Community Development Department. The request before the board tonight is a request for waiver from certain subdivision requirements. Because we're bringing that to you, we're also presenting the plat just to make it a one-stop shop. Ultimately, Senate Bill 784 made it possible for final plats to be approved, but because we're already bringing the waiver, we brought the plat as well. There was one minor Scrivener error in the resolution title. It's been corrected in the share drive for the city clerk's purposes, but as a matter of clarity, yeah, I just wanted to make note that one of the sections was a minor misreference. The recommended motion is to adopt the resolution, which would both grant the waiver as well as approve the final plat. The applicant is 3002 Surveying LLC, the professional surveyor mapper hired by Amanda Moore to subdivide her parcel. She's proposing to subdivide a 40-acre parcel into 4 lots, and that technically constitutes a major subdivision. We'll get into that a little bit further along in the presentation. This is the subject parcel. And it's on 202, so it's on the east side of 202, meaning it's outside of the urban service area. Water and sewer may eventually make it to her on 202, but generally they're outside, so they're not required to connect. Here's a closer-up image of the property, so you can see the lay of the land. Looks like it's generally used for some sort of row crop. And this is the proposed plat. And in our code, when you have a subdivision that is 4 or more lots, it's considered a major subdivision. Major subdivisions have different rules than a minor subdivision, which is 3 or lesser lots. And it requires them to come in for a preliminary plat. It requires them to come in for construction plans. Both of those steps are essentially to assess how the property is being subdivided and how utilities and other infrastructure are going to be constructed on the property. Just going back to the image of the property, you can see the alignment of the parcels would all have driveways on 202. There is no water or wastewater services in the area, and so essentially they will not be constructing a road and they will not be putting in water and wastewater lines. So there is no construction or infrastructure for staff to actually look at. It was our recommendation to the applicant that they seek a waiver from those requirements because they serve no real purpose in accomplishing what they're looking to do, which is simply subdivide into 4 10-acre lots. Any questions about that? Does that all make sense? Oh. No, it doesn't make sense?
No, I have no question.
Oh, okay, awesome. And that is my presentation. I'll leave the recommended motion up. There wasn't a presentation provided by the applicant, but they're here, the surveyor that prepared the plat, to answer any technical questions that the commission may have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John Paul. Is there any public comment? Is there limited to 3 minutes? Seeing none, I'll accept your motion as your final argument. Of course, you're not going to cross-examine yourself. Does the decision-making body have any questions? Commissioner Farnsworth?
Jean Paul, if water sewer happened to make it down 202, would they be required to connect at that time?
That's a great question. Our code says that if it comes within 800 feet, I believe you have to connect. Being that it's outside of our urban service area, I imagine there would be an argument for them to say that they don't need to connect. So,
Should that be clarified before we vote on this?
what do you think, Madam Attorney?
There's also a state statute that says that within 365 days of wastewater coming online and it's within reasonable connecting distance, you have to connect.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it is on. So they would very likely have to connect pursuant to that state statute. As soon as they receive notice from presumably us, it would be us that ran the wastewater line down 202. They'd likely have to connect.
Mr. Mayor,
That'll be a while.
I also believe that
Probably.
in
never
100
know.
years, if that happens,
Sure.
this body would first have to vote to extend the urban service area, and at that point, we would go ahead and codify anybody that's outside needs to hook in.
Sure, that's if you ran pipes down 202 and whatnot.
Right now, there's no intention of running any utility services outside of the urban service area, so that we are clearly designating where Newberry is willing to grow and where we want that green belt around us.
Things change,
In 100 years, I agree.
maybe sooner.
Any other questions for staff?
Second.
Madam Attorney, as we entertain the motion from Commissioner Coleman and Commissioner Long on the second, please advise the decision-making body of the applicable law and factual findings that must be made to approve or deny the application.
Absolutely. All of your factual findings this evening need to be based upon competent and substantial evidence in the record that they meet the requirements set forth in your code.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, unanimous. All right, we will move on to item number 8. This is returning us to a legislative body. Legislative public hearing, first reading of interim zoning ordinance for the city of Newberry. Madam Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is ordinance number 2025-72, an interim zoning ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending portions of Appendix B, Article 5 of the City of Newberry Code of Ordinances related to subdivisions to provide relief for certain subdivision and street standards, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Jean Paul, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. John Paul Perez, Community Development Department. This is interim zoning ordinance that we're presenting to the commission tonight. An interim zoning ordinance is a method of adopting temporary regulations to test them out. And so these regulations do have an expiration date, which is 12 months from now. That can be extended. We're doing this in advance of our land development regulation update in order to address some just urgent needs. The recommended motion is to approve on first reading. This was presented to the Planning and Zoning Board on November 3rd, and they did not have anything besides a recommendation to adopt. The strategic plan was adopted in 2022, which led into the comprehensive plan, and we have currently engaged a consultant to assist with the land development regulation rewrite, and we hope that'll be ready sometime in 2026. Some things that have changed over the course of time, or just recently in 2025, Senate Bill 784 was passed by Florida Congress, which amended portions of Florida Statute 177, which required local governments to adopt final plats administratively. We addressed some of that with our City Resolution 2025-39, which just took formal action from the commission to allow the city manager to approve final plats. We're doing this in addition to that resolution to address some other things. We're doing this all under the Senate Bill 180, which was also passed this year, which prevents local governments from adopting more strict regulations. The original ordinance that was presented to the Planning and Zoning Board had some stricter regulations. We got a final determination from the City Attorney's Office that we still aren't in a position to adopt more strict regulations due to the timing of some of the agenda posting requirements. The same version that went to PZB was also uploaded to the agenda. And I'm going to go over the two items that got removed from the ordinance that now brings it back into compliance with Senate Bill 180. Any questions about what an interim zoning ordinance is and what it does? All right, awesome, moving on. So subdivisions. Subdivisions is the dividing on land into developable lots, easements, roads. It creates a map of land that creates a legal lot of record. All the parties that have interest in the land sign it. There's some sort of compliance affidavit or certificate on the face of the plat stating that it complies with 177 and other sections, but mainly 177. And then any dedications that are necessary for, say, road widenings or utilities, whatnot. And also part of that, we make sure that they paid their taxes. So no platting if you haven't paid your taxes. States regulate plats, and so do local governments. In the case of Alachua County, municipalities have control over platting, so we regulate, in addition to the state, the subdivision of land and what it means to be a legally acceptable document. So some amendments from the ordinance, I think I already went over these, removed things that were in reference to Senate Bill 180. We removed the sidewalk requirements. One of the things that we were adding was the collector roads in these subdivisions have sidewalks on both sides of the street, where the local roads with the homes on them would have the one sidewalk that's already required. So we removed the requirement for the second sidewalk until we're outside of Senate Bill 180, which is not till October 1, 2027, unless it gets overturned or appealed before then. We also removed site lighting requirements. We had just added a small section to require that the site lighting be dark sky friendly, with an exception for safety. Where it's needed, they can obviously put in brighter lights there. And just reiterating, we are not proposing more strict regulations than this. So one of the requirements that we had to do initially, which kind of spurred this whole conversation, was in our definitions. We were doing regulations and definitions, and we were creating an exemption for 5-acre subdivisions, which is completely in conflict with what the state requires for subdivisions, at least for the trigger of when subdivisions become required. And that's the creation of 3 or more lots from a legal lot of record. For our purposes, we use November 12, 1992, when we adopted our comprehensive plan as our date of beginning for these lot of records and our parent parcels. And so any subdivision that occurred after that, once it hits that third one, you now need to plat that land, whether it's in the urban service area or out in the rural areas of the city. A plat is required. We put in a lot of administrative approval or allowed for administrative approval where it was appropriate. Part of that was in response to the administrative approval of plats that's required by the state now. But some of it are our processes that are relevant to that. We just officially, unofficially, through the interim zoning ordinance, now say that the city manager has the authority to sign the plat. And also, we allow for bonding in lieu of completion of infrastructure, so folks can get their final plat. Generally, we require them to complete the infrastructure for us to accept it, and then a final plat to be approved, but in some cases, we allow them to bond it. And that allows the city to go in and complete the infrastructure if they need to. That's directly tied to the final plat, so we thought it be more appropriate for that to just be very explicit that the city manager can also sign off on approval of bonding in lieu of completion of infrastructure improvements. We deleted a restriction requiring subdivisions to be within 1 mile of water and wastewater area, which the code doesn't define as being either where water and wastewater lines are, or if they're referring to the urban service area, which could also be called our water and wastewater area, but we're now removing that so subdivisions can occur anywhere. Dillon's Grove is one that happened quite some time ago that's not within a mile of our water and wastewater, and PRRDs generally, which are the rural subdivisions, also don't necessarily comply with this, but section line roads, that's a topic of discussion that has come up before this commission before. We put in the authority for the commission to reduce it. Now, it's still got to be a commission decision. It's not an administrative decision, and we added some criteria to that. That road, that section line road, is not a necessary regional road connection, and not constructing a regional road or a 80-foot wide road section would not negatively impact public interest. Major subdivisions may be deemed minor subdivisions, like the one we just saw, where it's less than 10 lots, it's not in the urban service area, water and wastewater utilities are not required, and an asphalt road is not required. In those instances, we would not be looking at construction drawings, and we limited it at 10 to be consistent with county regulations on rural subdivisions. So theirs were a little bit more relaxed than ours. We're trying to meet them at a happy medium. Subdivisions of 9 or fewer lots of 5-acre subdivisions can now provide all-weather roads. Our code currently requires them to construct a road, and for these more rural ones, they still need to do the excavating, the sub-base, the limestone. They just don't have to put the asphalt skirt on it, which is not much relief for the rural subdivisions. And so an all-weather road is simply a road that's passable on a terrible, terrible day. So obviously we wouldn't be driving on these during a hurricane, but during a heavy rainstorm is still passable conditions. And this just lessens the requirements or relaxes the requirements. Preliminary plats and construction plans still go to the city commission, so that hasn't changed. You will still see these major subdivisions at preliminary plat. Just so you're aware, planned developments, mixed-use developments, planned residential developments, they do not require preliminary plats, so the only time you see those after the zoning ordinance is going to be at construction plan now. Just wanted to emphasize that because that's when you get to see how everything gets cut up and all the lots and everything is laid out. After that, they'll be getting final plat administratively. They'll be getting building permits administratively. So as you're looking at these different agenda items that are coming before you, just wanted to point out that your scope of seeing them is getting a little bit more limited. And that's it in its essence. It's good for 12 months. It can be extended, it can be terminated, whatever you guys would like to do. Do you have any questions for me?
Commissioner Farnsworth?
With the SB 180 exemption, you said you can't require sidewalks or enhanced or change what we have already, or what exactly are you talking about?
Great question. So Generally, and this is in the Florida statutes building construction standards chapter, it says broadly that we cannot adopt a comprehensive plan amendment, land development regulations, modifier procedures, essentially anything that would be deemed as more burdensome for development in the state until October 1 of 2027.
Right.
The additional sidewalks would be an example of a more strict regulation that we wouldn't be able to do, and the dark sky lighting could be perceived as a more burdensome requirement or
I
standard.
mean,
that they would need to meet.
how do they define more burdensome?
They
Well,
don't, that's part of the problem.
Yeah,
This bill is currently in litigation in the Third Circuit. There are 25 cities and counties who have filed suit claiming, it's a deck action, claiming that Senate Bill 180 is completely violative of home rule powers. I don't disagree candidly. I'll tell you guys up front that I think it is violative of home rule powers. It completely ties your hands in your ability to regulate things in your own cities right now. So right now,
Right.
the way that your code sits, nothing can be made stricter. You can loosen the reins on things, but if something can be read as such a way that you're making it harder or making it stricter or anything, I don't disagree, but anything that's going to make it tighter, more regulated, we can't do right now.
thank you.
But it sounds like you're also loosening up stuff instead of just not keeping what we have already, like the requirement for the roads and stuff. Is that, I mean, you're loosening that up, right?
Yes, yeah, that's a
Why
relaxation.
is that? Why not keep it the way it is?
I would say, Commissioner, all of the things that we're loosening up are things that this body has asked to be looser at some point in time in the last 2 to 3 years. So for example, let's say I inherit 20 acres, and I've got 3 kids and I want to survey it out and give each kid 5 acres, let them build a house. Right now, by the time you do that 4th, you have to pave a road into that 20 acres, and that's too expensive, right? So this board said 2 years ago when we did the one down on 15th, that's 5 acre lots, we thought that the paved road was too expensive to do that. You wanted to facilitate 5 acre lots, so you wanted to take away the things that were preventing people from doing the larger lots, keeping more green space. So that is an example. Give me another example. It's getting late in the day. And now the subdivisions, same thing. So the difference between a survey, if I take that 20 acres and I survey it, that cost me $1,500 a lot to survey. To plat, I'm probably looking closer to 15,000, right? So if you inherited 100 acres from your grandfather and you built one house on it, and then you divided that land off, that's it. You can't, you're after 1992, when we developed our comp plan, you only get to do that one time, one for free. After that, now you're building a subdivision. I think everybody up here defines subdivision as what we see in Newberry Corners, Country Way. We don't see it as taking 20 acres and making 4, 5 acre lots with houses. We wouldn't necessarily use the word subdivision for that. So those are the kinds of comments that the commission has made to staff over the past years. And this is sort of a Band-Aid approach to what can we do now, given that our hands have been tied by SB 180. What are the things that we can do to move some of these projects forward? So that's what you're looking at tonight.
I have a question.
So the paving of those roads, I mean, if they have a dirt road,
My question, but go ahead.
I ain't so sure I am, but if they have a dirt road, I mean, eventually, are we gonna get complaints regarding, I have a dirt road here?
These are only privately, this will never become a city road. This will never, so these are, we're talking about, generally in Newberry, we're talking about family land that people are trying to split and give 5 acres to somebody and their family, and they don't want to spend $1 million paving a road to access it, right? But these will always be privately held roads. They'll never be conveyed to the city. The other example was take Southwest 30th Avenue. We wanted to pave Southwest 30th Avenue, but it's a collector road. By our rules, that has to be an 80-foot right-of-way. Well, 80-foot right-of-way is necessary when you're talking about a boulevard, potential 4 lane, sidewalks on both sides. I don't think that anybody sees Southwest 30th as that. We wanted 2 nice paved roads with a setback. You're also, at that point, talking about taking a fairly good amount of land from the people that are up and down that road. All of you thought, when we talked about it publicly, all of you thought that a 60-foot right-of-way was more than adequate for Southwest 30th. This gives you guys the ability to look at that on an individual basis and say, yes, 60 foot is fine here. No, I think 80 foot is required on this point.
As far as more burdensome, would, let's say that if someone builds a subdivision, we require them to put side or street parking like we currently have
always
over
required
in Newberry Oaks,
As long, if we've always required it, then we can continue requiring it.
but we haven't.
If we've said, well, we required it on the collector road inside, right, the main entrance.
Right.
What John Paul is talking about is in our proposed updates, on that collector road, we want to see sidewalks on both sides. So if I go into the neighborhood on the big road, sidewalks on both sides. As I divert back into the side neighborhood roads, one sidewalk would be okay there. We have, I believe, always required at least that one sidewalk on the collector road. So if we've always done it, we can keep doing it. But if it costs more money or more time, I think the attorney would say that could be interpreted as more burdensome. We can't do it right now. And I'm sure that some city in the state of Florida used a state of emergency to expedite some really egregious zoning changes. So now every city in the state of Florida is getting punished for that.
And if we require them to have a certain lot size, is that more burdensome or not?
I mean, it would have to be case by case. In different zoning packages, we have different lot sizes. So it would, if we go bigger than anything that we've had, then I think you could argue that's more burdensome.
But when they come through for PDs,
You
they're
have to come to
bringing
the
you their idea.
Yeah, what our community director is saying is when the applicant comes with the application of PD, they bring you these ideas, right? They say, here's what I'd like to do. We've been requiring dark sky friendly for quite some time. We've just done it in developers agreements. We haven't put it actually in our code to codify it. So as you know, we've been using developers agreements as the way to work with developers to get the extra amenities. And now with SB 180, we'll probably continue that practice of, if you want to do this, we're going to do it through a developer's agreement. We're going to say, this is the kind of development that we want to see in Newberry. It's not in our code, but we're negotiating an agreement with the developer directly, consensually, to get sidewalks on both sides, those kinds of things.
And so, PD's the approval is gonna be up to you now?
No, only final plats.
Correct. You guys still see everything, and most of these decisions, you guys make the decision. The only thing that comes to the manager or his designee would be final plat, but you see the preliminary plat, and you make the rules to an extent governing plat. Some of it were preempted by the state, but
Okay, I'm not 100% convinced that I wanna support this.
I don't think you have a choice, sir.
You always got a choice, always got a choice. Commissioner Coleman, did you have another question still?
Well, it's kind of, here's the deal. You know, I do a lot of praising in Bellevue and Dunellen. Just virtually what this is gonna do is we're gonna look like that. Where all these people have moved in and they're 5-acre lots, they're lime rock private roads. They're terrible. I mean, that's what's gonna happen. And the thing of it is, the majority of them don't even have they have no homeowner association or anything. So it's up to the individuals there that are living in that neighborhood to get it fixed. And now, you'll, it's not good, but hey, that's all I gotta say about that.
So, Jean-Paul, because the final plat is signed off by the manager, what would you say is the most important part of the process for the commission to pay attention to?
For major subdivisions that are not a PD, you'll be seeing them at preliminary plat. And that is the initial conceptual drawing of how the land's going to be laid out. And that would be a very critical moment to pay close attention as to what's going on and make any comments, discussions, requirements at that time. For the PDs, construction plans, as the construction plans are coming in, this would be Highland Park, Tanglewood, NC Ranch in the near future. That's when you want to really go through those drawings, look at everything that's going on. If the information is being presented to you and you don't understand it, call staff, come have a seat with us. We can go over what you're looking at, what you have questions about. All before we get into a public hearing. We obviously have to do that individually, but we're always available to assist. But construction plans for those ongoing large developments is when you want to pay close attention, and always at zoning and land use change. That is a police power that is granted to this body through the state, and it cannot be surrendered to anyone. So it's a very important power that you hold, and so pay close attention as to what's going into that development order and making sure it carries forth the mission of the board.
So if there's any concerns from us or future commissioners, the reliance for this to follow through the way that is set up in the preliminary is we're relying on the staff to make sure that gets done. What is the other assurance, like dissuade us of concerns that we're not seeing it for the final time? Because I'm not sure I'm convinced that we want you to be burdened with that final decision, because we're kind of paid and elected to maybe make those final decisions. So talk us through that a little bit.
So we administer the code. And so if it is something that is routine and regular, it should be in the code. So that way we can administer it. If it is not in the code, or you're being presented with code that you don't like, anything in tonight's interim zoning ordinance, it needs to be looked at. Tonight's first reading, so there's another bite at the apple on November 24th when we plan on having second reading, but I would use that opportunity to really look at that, and if you are uncomfortable with it, let's have a conversation, see what an alternative is, and then I don't think we can do anything before the hearing, because I think all actions need to be in the sunshine, but we can at least talk about it, and maybe the conversation will be more robust as to why we don't like something or what that change is that we want to see in the ordinance, and that's something that can be accomplished in discussion and then in the motion.
Okay. Commissioner Coleman?
So really, what this is doing is, I can take 100 acres of mine and run a road right through the middle of it, Lime Rock, and make it into 5 acre. No,
that's the limitation of 9 lots. So, what we're proposing is
okay, I'll make it 9 lots. So then it
now
can be
you
a Lime Rock
so
road.
now that'd be 45 acres. I can put in a Lime Rock road. I can cut that into 5 lots as long as my acreage are actually true 5 acres, right? So I probably need more like 47 acres, right? Now I can do that, right? Which I would say in my experience is pretty much how Newberry's always operated,
Yeah.
right? I understand your comments, and I share those concerns as well. I would also say, though, that we don't have a run on 5 acre lots right now, right? 5 acres is a lot of land to maintain.
You're going to with this, because now they don't have to worry about infrastructure.
Well, I'm not sure, because one, I gotta buy the land. Most people who are in this business are looking for the density, right?
Right.
There's not a big turnover on 5 acre lots. I don't run into a lot of people who wanna maintain 5 acres, which is why this board settled on the 2 acres for the small scale rural residential, because it was just enough land to be nice, but not enough land to be overly burdensome, right? I think you could reduce the number of lots. However, I'm gonna channel my inner Commissioner Clark and say to
Yep.
the guy who comes in with 15 acres and he wants to cut that into 3 and give it to his grandkids, and staff says, great, you can do that, you have to pave a road. Where's the common sense? You're gonna tell me that guy's gotta spend $250,000 for 3 houses, he's trying to set his grandkids up, he's trying to, can I get some common sense in here? So wherever the lot is, I'm back to Georgia.
That's
now.
pretty good.
That was like, oh, get on, man.
Wherever the number of lots is y'all's call. That's why we're having the conversation tonight. 9 was sub 50, right? There's not a whole lot of people with 50 acres that are viewing this as the best and highest use to do with that land. But if you feel better at 7 lots, then that's what you're here to discuss tonight, right? But I would say, no matter what you guys decide, there will be somebody standing here at this podium someday saying, but I just need to budget just a little bit, right? And whatever you guys say, that's what this manager is going to enforce, because I listen to y'all pretty carefully. So if you say 9 lots, that's going to be, and if they can only do it by having 4.7 acres, I'm going to say, no, I'm sorry, you don't qualify, because this commission said it had to be 5 acres and 9 lots was the minimum. Or this commission said it was only 8 lots and you could do a 40 acre.
So what if somebody has 10 acres and they want to do 2 acre lots? Can they do that?
If they're outside of the urban service area, they could come in and they could apply for a small scale rural residential, which requires 2 acre lots, gated community, paved road, right? There's a lot of stipulations that you guys intentionally put into the small scale rural residential to ensure that it was a very high-end neighborhood. I don't know that you would do that for 10 acres.
I just want to add to that. So if it's a 10 acre and they're only doing 2 lots, they don't even need to plat really. They would be benefited by coming into the city and getting some sort of due diligence letter saying that they could pull a building permit after they split it, but it wouldn't meet that 3 lot threshold for the state and for the city requiring a plat. So that
If
type
they're
of
willing to accept the 5 acres.
If-
they
yeah.
wanted to go to 2 acres, they'd have to go small scale rural residential.
exactly, yeah, and that could be done directly with the property appraiser. They just say, hey, I want to split.
So again, this is first reading, so it'll come back before us in a couple of weeks. So yeah, we can have an opportunity between now and then to speak with staff or city manager a little bit more if you want. Did you have any other questions, comments? Anything from the public? Did you have any
Do you
questions?
have a motion?
I don't think you have a motion.
There's no motion.
Need a motion.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the commission then? Is there a motion?
I mean,
So, okay, Commissioner Long has the motion. Is there a second? Going once?
Mr. Mayor, before the motion expires, I'll say if the only thing that's giving you heartburn is the lot, then let's pull that out, because there's not one thing in front of you tonight that I haven't heard directly out of the mouth of one of you guys up here.
I'm
Right.
behind it 100%.
We're trying to do all that, but I will also say the lots are one of the most frequent problems that I hear from you guys when people are coming in and trying to do a lot split. They're trying to take care of their child. They're trying to bring their parents over here. So if that's giving you heartache, pull that part, right? But I would also say you're down one person, and I've heard about the lot splits the most from that one commissioner. So you may want to table this and come back to it.
I want to table it.
Again, it's only going to decrease our ability to respond to some of the residents who are reaching out to you guys saying, help me on this issue. I'm trying to build a house. I'm trying to bring my parents up here. That's y'all's call. If we need more time to think about it. But I'm just telling you, this is how we got this list of items in here. These are the ones that are least restrictive. These are the things we can do something out. Our hands are tied from SB 180. If you want to table the whole thing and wait till we have a full dais, if you want to move forward and just pull that one out, I think it would be easier to leave it in, approve it tonight, vote it down on second reading when we have a full dais.
I want to know what.
So all we have-
everybody in the public, that's what I want to know. I want their opinion straight.
You want to second
I don't
the,
want to table it tonight And if there's somebody sitting out there right now wants to.
Well, we need a second to
Procedurally,
go
we
to
have to have a
public.
motion and a second to put on the floor to table it to begin with.
Well, you got one, but
That's-
go ahead.
We need a second.
So we need a second just to have a motion on the floor that could be
Okay,
tabled
I'll second.
or, okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, which motion are you seconding? Because now you've got two. Realistically, Commissioner Long should amend his motion to
Do-
table it if that's what you all want.
Do you-
Amended to table it.
Perfect. So now you've got a motion, an amended
can't-
motion to
you
table
can't-
it.
I don't think he
You
wants.
can't
to
table a motion that's not. on the
His
floor.
motion was to put it on the floor for discussion.
So,
Yeah,
no,
Right, so he needs to amend his
but
motion.
do you want,
No,
do
he-
you
that was
want
motion
to, are we, the motion, do you want to include the lots or to not include the
Not
lot?
include the lots.
To not include the lots, and you're willing to second that motion. So we have a motion on the floor that excludes the lot count. That's been moved and properly seconded by Commissioner Long and Commissioner Coleman. That motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion from the public?
None.
Seeing none.
So,
Is there any further discussion from the dais?
before you say anything.
Yeah.
The lots are out of this, right? So-
Correct. Yep.
Hang on one second.
So if you
Can
want
I-
to clarify, go ahead.
Oh, no, I want to actually ask you for clarity. What do you mean by lots?
You're right. What do you mean lots are out of it? That's very,
It all goes back to one of our commissioners had a problem with that at the time. And I want him here, because he represents, like I do, a lot of the rural area. And, so, yeah, I'm gonna go with just tabling it.
You like to make a,
I got nothing from the public. I do got a commissioner I know that's gonna be very, and it's a situation, he's not here tonight. He's already been in this situation, so I think we should table this until,
So let's vote the motion down and then entertain another motion to table,
okay,
if that's the will of the board.
yeah,
If
might not be.
we can also just clarify what we mean by removing the lots out of it, past the rest of it, right? We'll bring back, for second reading the rest of it, and then we can treat the lot splits as a separate issue later. So I think
That's
two
cool.
options. You can vote yes on this motion, right? Let's clarify what lots we're pulling out, right? Or you could vote this motion down, vote to table it, right? And then we'll come back when we have a full dais. We can come back on the November 24th and the first meeting in December, so we can still have this issue wrapped up before the holidays, if you vote this down and just motion to table it. There is some really important stuff in here that I don't want to die,
I understand.
because I agree with the concerns on this. I don't know that I agree that it's gonna explode into a lot of people buying 5-acre lots, but I think that the commission needs a little more time to consider that.
One thing I wanted to add is by resolution, you can stop the regulations at any time. So it's not like these are
This is an
permanent
interim
or, yeah.
ordinance.
So by resolution, which is a one hearing process, you can say, no more, we're shutting it down. And
With
repeal,
one meeting, you
Really?
can kill whatever that's in this?
yeah, yes, sir.
yeah.
You should have said that from the start, man.
He did.
Yeah, why don't you?
Why didn't you say
He
that from
did.
the start?
He did.
It's
He did.
always the case that the commission
He
can
did.
change their mind later and say,
He
we
did.
don't want to do this anymore.
He actually did.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I'm good.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I mean, it'll be up to him.
what are we
Although-
good for?
Still kill lots.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
no.
The ayes have it. Motion passes.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The motion was to move forward with this without
Without the-
having the lots.
Without
So
the
that's
lots.
what, that just passed 3-2.
But
So
we don't
the
know what-
sections that
what it
talk about
means,
major
actually.
subdivisions and minor subdivisions that separate 10 lots, all of that language needs to be pulled out. Everything about right of way, can you go back to everything about right of way, everything else stays in, right?
Right.
That last slide is the only thing that gets pulled out. Is that clear to you, John Paul? Do
Does
you
the
need to ask
all-weather
any?
roads stay in? Because that relates back to lots.
The right of way does not relate back to lots, right?
All-weather roads does.
Yeah, but that's inside the subdivision, right?
Yeah.
So everything inside the lots is being pulled out. The collector road, 80-foot right-of-way versus 60-foot
Right.
right-of-way, that stays in, right? So right now, if somebody comes up here tomorrow with 15 acres, says that they want to make 3 subdivisions, we say our 3, 5 acres, we're going to say, you can absolutely do that. You have to put in a paved road. That's our rule right now.
It always has been.
It always has been.
Yeah.
That's what has caused frustration from you guys, because that has always been the rule, right? If you want to do
It ain't
that,
bothered me a bit. I don't know what you mean about it's causing frustration to you guys, but I don't.
yeah.
It's the element of
It might
causing the
cause
frustration
frustration
for the,
To the landowner.
it has been expressed that the frustration comes from the parent that can't divide it for their children without putting in a paved road,
Well,
which
can't they
is,
come in and ask for a special exception?
We don't have a special exception for that. And they can ask for a variance, but you can't ask for a variance for a self-inflicted wound. The rule is a rule. You've got the acreage. This is the rule. So
But at the
if,
meeting, we can just say, screw the rule, done.
Well, it's state statute. Subdivision's defined by state
Right.
statute of 3 or more subdivisions of lots, and then it requires a plat. That's why our hands are so tied.
Right.
We have control over the road type.
Right. We have control over the road type, but we don't have control over the situation of like creating a plat. That's state statute.
which is the Band-Aid solution that we're giving to you tonight. If you're not comfortable with it, that's fine. I'm just reminding you of when those folks come in and say, this is what I'm trying to do. Staff's response is gonna be, you can absolutely do that. You gotta spend $200,000 to paver. It's not a chip seal, it's not a milled road, it's a paved road, is what they have to do.
Well, I'm in a situation that this is, I got 3 siblings, no, I got 1 sibling and 3 children. One of them's my cousin, no. And I don't wanna be having to face that, just like another commissioner is.
I'm
And
in,
you do too.
I'm in
You're,
the same boat.
yeah, longtime family here and wanna give it to our kids and,
I think most of the land in Newberry falls into this situation. At some point, some time ago, somebody owned 2,000 acres, and they just slowly began leaving sections of it off to children, who then divided it again and left it off to children, right? Now, in 1992, we passed our comp plan, and that froze everybody's land, right? And at that point moving forward, you only really got one freebie split. So if we split it after that, we were doing it in error, right? So if you come and you've already split your land, you can't split your land, and you've got to build a road, right? So this is a Band-Aid solution for 1 year, right? That allows some things to move forward, allow some of those low-hanging fruit.
that's repealable.
And it automatically expires in a year, or unless you guys keep going on with it. But we already have a motion on the floor. I'm just clarifying.
it's already been voted on.
Well, because I thought the will of the board was to table this, so I thought we were voting no on that one to offer another motion to table.
Yeah.
But the motion just passed, so
Without the roads.
without the roads. What I would suggest is let's leave the motion that just passed as passed.
Yep.
We still see this on second reading, right?
Okay.
There's an opportunity to bring it back on second reading and have more of a conversation where we can dive deeper into this issue. But I am very, very sensitive to the board getting frustrated when we have to come talk about a 4-foot easement because staff is enforcing the rules that you guys set. So if you guys say that people have to pave a road to split 15 acres into 3 lots, that's what your manager is gonna tell applicants when they come in. And common sense is gonna reign supreme eventually.
Calm down, Mark.
If somebody passes away and they have 15 acres and they get 5 acres to each person when they pass away,
that's
then
it.
that will not fall under this rule.
I think the leaving, that's a great legal question. The leaving of the land, they can, but what you do with that land, they can't build a house on it, they can't.
That's just it. You could pass it via probate or in the intestate statute or even by trust and deed legal descriptions and parse it out, and that would designate ownership, but it wouldn't give you the ability to build.
So when someone came in to build a house, we'd say, we can't issue that building permit, sorry.
Why?
Because
Because you need to plat.
You didn't plat, you have to build a road.
But if it's divided to three different entities, then
But they're
each entity.
unbuildable, they're unbuildable.
And when you plat, it's 20 times more than it is just to go out there and have a surveyor out there.
I mean, somehow, some way, we are gonna have to fix this issue. The ultimate fix is for us to pass the comp plan, because that resets everybody's parcel, resets all the land back to parent parcels. But I would say even before we do that, we need clarity on what the rules are moving forward, right? Right now, if I inherit a 100-acre parent parcel, had never been split, and I build my house on 5 acres, and I split that 5 acres off, the rest of the 95 acres I got a problem with. Because I've already had my one-time free split.
I think we need a study, Monty. We need
think
to
we
pay
do.
about
I think so.
$40 million on a study.
I
and
think it's a
figure
good
this out.
idea. Can we get a grant for it?
I will tell you that it's gonna give you a headache, because John Paul and Stacy have been coaching me up on this issue for a while, and I still would put myself at maybe 80%.
Well,
It is
what
complicated.
percentage of our families are asking this compared to a developer that's asking for it?
Well, a developer won't never have to ask for this, right? Because a developer's gonna buy the land and they're going to plat, right? Because they wanna do quarter-acre lots. This really is only an
But I mean,
issue.
they could divide it in 5-acre lots too.
But if they're going to develop it and go through that process, they'll plat, right? So we're really only talking about the smaller acreage that, is family owned and they're trying to break it up, right? That's who your staff sees. I don't know, once a month, somebody comes in.
Well, they call us twice a week.
Yeah. After the answer is you can't do that, then they start calling 4 times a week, right? When am I gonna be able to do this? When am I gonna be able to do this?
I think
right?
we're good where we're at, and then we'll have this long discussion next time
I
Sounds like
agree.
a plan.
All right, well,
on the
if
final.
that didn't go completely over y'all's head, then
Don't
we're,
worry, you need any clarification?
we're not alone, don't worry. It gets kind of in the minutia.
I gave it to the public to
Number-
come up here and scream at us, and by God, none of them came up here.
That's because it's confusing.
All right, agenda items. Number 9 is Thrive, with Commissioner Donald Long and Janice Smith.
Hey,
Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, get 'em up there, man.
to the podium, brother. To the podium you go.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Hi, I'm Janice Smith, and I'm representing Thrive, which is the Healthy Resource Initiative voicing empathy or equity, whichever one you want to use at the end at this point. And this process started a little over a year ago as certain members of the community recognized a need for healthy resources within Newberry for Newberry citizens. So we are here to express our vision, which is to cultivate a vibrant, healthy, and inclusive community where all residents have opportunities to achieve optimal well-being. Our mission is to implement sustainable programs and policies that promote physical, mental, and social health with a special focus on underserved populations, including the uninsured, seniors, maternal health, and those most vulnerable, to enhance the quality of life for all residents of Newberry and surrounding communities. This initiative will ensure valid, reliable, and accessible health care through strategic partnerships and outreach programs. Our objectives are to expand health care access by monthly clinics, screenings, enhance partnerships with UF Health, local nonprofits and churches, and to improve accessibility, transportation, multilingual multi-language services, and preventive care. The oversight would be by the City of Newberry to ensure financial management and compliance. And our board of directors would include residents of Newberry. Thrive Newberry will not only expand its capacity to serve the most vulnerable, but also ensure long-term impact and community ownership. This initiative lays the foundation for a healthier, more equitable Newberry where every resident has the opportunity to thrive. As the population ages, the need for senior-specific health care services become more pressing, and important resources include geriatric care specialists, home health services, and senior wellness programs. It also increases access to primary care, which is the front line of health care, to improve access in the Newberry community. We will consider partnership with local primary care providers, mobile outreach clinics, telemedication options, and health education workshops, as well as dental screenings. We'll expand mental health services, such as providing resources by mental health professionals and offering support groups, community outreach programs, crisis intervention services, gun violence interventions, and workshops. We'll improve maternal and child health through prenatal and postnatal care, maternal mobile outreach clinics, pediatric services, parenting support groups, and free mammograms. For men's health, we'll offer free screenings for prostate cancer and other illnesses exclusive to men. We'll also address substance abuse, rehabilitation and support programs, preventive education, and collaboration with law enforcement. In conclusion, enhancing health services and resources in Newberry requires a multifaceted approach that addresses the diverse needs of the community. By focusing on these key areas, Newberry can ensure a healthier, more resilient population ready to face the challenges of tomorrow. So our call to action is that we propose to the city commissioners to pass an ordinance appointing Commissioner Donald Long to create a board of directors for Thrive, the Healthy Resource Initiative, voicing empathy. I write to you today with deep respect and a shared vision for the health and wellness of our beloved Newberry. As a joint founder of Thrive, I've witnessed firsthand the growing momentum behind our community-rooted initiatives and the sincere dedication of Commissioner Donald Long in championing their success. I respectfully request the Commission's consideration in drafting and adopting an ordinance that formally appoints Commissioner Long as a liaison between Thrive and the City of Newberry. This ordinance would grant him the authority to establish a board of directors to guide Thrive's mission and ensure its operations remain in full compliance with city ordinances and policies. Commissioner Long has consistently demonstrated a heartfelt commitment to sustainable well-being situations for our residents. His leadership, integrity, and collaborative spirit make him an ideal steward for this role, one that bridges civic responsibility with grassroots empowerment. I believe this appointment will strengthen the city's partnership with Thrive, foster transparency and accountability, and help us build a healthier, more resilient Newberry for generations to come. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration. Any questions?
Well done.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Sounds like you got some pretty big goals and very big idea. And just kind of off the bat, this isn't committing the city to any resources. This is completely volunteer, correct?
From the city. Now, resources that we've already validated have been volunteer resources, like you have mobile outreach clinics. We have our local healthcare providers that have already offered some services. We have already received a grant from Children's Trust of Alachua County for a gun prevention program for families and children of Newberry. So we have a lot of things in motion, but we just need to make it official.
This isn't committing us to anything.
Mr. Mayor, it doesn't commit you to any financial resources. It would make Thrive eligible to use a city facility free of charge. If they wanted to have a health fair,
And
they can use the municipal building.
and the goal pretty much to have one voice in the process, so having the city champion this helps the community to see that the city cares about the health well-being of the community and kind of make them more focused on getting things done. And we have a lot of other organizations that have already reached out to try to support it, already said the things we can get to make it a little more easier, because it's a lot of companies, a lot of places that are already doing it. All we're doing is pulling the resources to Newberry to make it more visible to the community that needs it. So that's the biggest thing, just make it more visible in Newberry. A lot of people don't know the resources that are available.
You would be surprised at the quality of health resources that we have right here in Newberry. And if you want me to tell you some of the other services, we have some here. They may want to come up and say something.
Commissioner Coleman had a comment.
Yeah, I was wondering, are you also like meals, what is it for the seniors, Meals on Wheels? Are y'all looking at doing any of that? Because I think that's died here, hasn't it? Or they used to do it like once a week.
We used to give money from the city coffers towards Meals on Wheels, and we cut that out. Because that should be a community-led thing. That shouldn't be us taking tax dollars from people who don't want to participate that, forcing them to participate it, using the leverage of the city to make that happen.
What I've been told through some of these, I've really dug into this and became a part of lots of nonprofits and collaborative groups to find out how to really finalize this and make it sustainable. Those resources are out there, but they don't always come to you. If you don't go to them, they don't come to you. So we are going to be going to them and utilizing those resources, and I will let you know that the overall feeling from most of these are in Gainesville, but they're like, we're glad that Newberry is coming to us because we don't have anybody from Newberry asking for these things. And there may be some, I don't know about them, just the ones that I've been involved in. So you don't get if you don't ask.
Yeah, you have to speak up for a lot
And
of
we
those
would like to
initiatives.
have, once all of these new buildings are filled up and whatever, to have a designated space for maybe storing things, and if we want to have support groups, things like that we could use. It doesn't have to just be a space for us only, but we would like to be able to, for the city to provide that if it's available. I don't have a private citizen that has offered anything, so I think going through the city and partnering with the city will make it a lot more permanent and sustainable, and I think Donald Long will help make that happen.
Yeah, making it a louder voice coming from the city gets people more focused on it and just more supportive. So that was my idea behind it, and her champion everything just made it a little more visible, but the goal is to really be somebody that can help community grow. And a lot of times men's health, dental health is not talked about. We do mammograms, they do other blood drives, but the full health of our citizens never gets talked about. That's something that we should put together and try to help out as much as we can, if possible. So.
And we want our underserved community to know that they are valued too. We have populations that really contribute to the economic vitality of this city that don't always get recognized for what they do. So this is something that we can do for those populations that are not receiving the health care that they need. And so
thank you.
okay. Anyone want to speak?
So, hi, David Paps. Citizen of Newberry,
you just
out
moved
personal,
here.
right? Yeah. I think for clarity's sake, at least from Janice's point of view, is that we were kind of faced with two options for Thrive. That was either create, a new 501c3 organization, or from my understanding, partnering with the city would allow us to be kind of under the city. That'd probably be a question, attorney legal wise. But at least from like the preliminary meeting we had, that seemed to be the way we would prefer to go. And to address the mayor's question, there would be no like direct financial need from Thrive. It would just be availability of city resources. There was mention of potentially using the city's grant writer for certain projects that needed large grant underwriting. I think that was kind of the overall point of bringing this up and appointing Commissioner Hall.
Support. Got it. There's some support.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor. My name is Ben Anderson. I'm not a citizen of Newberry, but I did grow up outside of Newberry. And I'm here to support Janice and Thrive and just share a little bit of that support here tonight. When I was a very young boy, I don't know if any of you remember Dr. George Corellis. Yeah. So I was very young when I met him, and my mom took me in to see him because I was sick. She didn't have a lot of money. So I got to be seen by him, and she paid the copay with one peach cobbler. So that was a very prominent memory in my mind. I think highlights the spirit of community health, neighbors taking care of neighbors, reaching out and making sure people have access to what they need. I'm not a little boy anymore. I'm a grown, bigger boy, and now I'm actually a public health practitioner. So that's my expertise, and that's what I work on. And got to meet Janice, and the passion she has to work in her community is unparalleled with many that I've worked with. I actually am on the other side of the county, working in the Melrose area, and we often partner and develop community health initiatives, working with different groups, and we very much believe that community health doesn't start when you walk into a doctor's office. It starts in the communities that you're growing up in and that you're living in. And so I'm really excited about the initiative and the passion that she's put forward on this, the people that she's brought together here with the support of the commissioners and the others that have really put the idea into action. From my point of view, even though I'm representing myself as a private citizen with my expertise and the roles that I have in the public health work that I do, we're here to support Janice as well, and all the things that she and the rest of the volunteers are doing for the city of Newberry. And just want to say thank you so much for your support as well, particularly Commissioner Long for agreeing to the issue. So thank you.
I think me and Craig both remember those $5 office visits with Dr. Corrales. So. But those were the good old days, huh?
Okay, any further discussion from the public? Any further discussion from the board? We do not have a motion on the floor.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Coleman and a second from Commissioner Farnsworth. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, unanimous. Number 10, Economic Development Impact Fee Mitigation Agreement. Mr. Dallas, you're taking us through this one?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. This item before you is an Economic Development Impact Fee Mitigation Agreement with Harvest Singularity, also known as Project Hydro. The requested action is for you to approve the draft agreement and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute the agreement. So as the commission may remember, when we implemented impact fees back in 2023, the commission simultaneously adopted an economic development impact fee mitigation program. The goal of the program was to reduce or waive portions of impact fees for new qualifying or expanded businesses that generate substantial economic benefits through job creation, capital investment, and above average wage levels. So we've received a request from Project Hydro seeking an impact fee mitigation underneath this program. As you know, Project Hydro proposes to construct a state-of-the-art hydroponic greenhouse located within the city limits. The project aligns with our economic development priorities and has been reviewed for compliance. The current project estimates over $40 million in capital investment, 90 jobs, and significant tax base. The mitigation agreement establishes terms and conditions for which we'll grant the impact fee credits, as well as clawback provisions should the applicant not meet the requirements. The developer is eligible for up to $73,000 in impact fee mitigation based on the job creation commitments they provided, which is 20 jobs that pay at least 115% of the average annual wage or more. They'll have 3 years to meet the certifications that are in the agreement. That 3 years will start upon issuance of their building permit. They'll have to complete the capital investments, create those jobs, and then submit documentation to us. The agreement's in effect for 4 years from execution. And as I mentioned, if the developer fails to meet any of the required standards, the city can recoup those dollars that we waived in the impact fee. So happy to answer any questions.
Is there any questions from the board? Anyone want to offer a motion?
Motion. Second.
Commissioner Mazon and Commissioner Farnsworth on the second. Any further discussion on the board? Any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimous. Oh, that is it. Comments. Citizens first. 5 minutes. Come back to the board. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to let you know, in observance of Veterans Day, the city will be closed tomorrow. There will be no disruption in our solid waste. That's going to move on along its normal schedule. We are expecting a freeze tonight and tomorrow night. In anticipation of that, not only have we gotten the city ready, we've also suspended our disconnections due to the cold weather, so no one has to worry about losing their electricity on a night when it's going to freeze. Because of the historic night that we just had, and I'm not sure that we really emphasize that in the presentations, but the two motions tonight, the one that you just did, 10 and 6, was the second reading. Newberry is now going to hold a press conference on Wednesday morning at 9:30 a.m. to announce our very first anchor tenant in AgTech Park. Guys, this is enormous for Newberry. It's enormous for the state and the country. This is Dutch technology. It's completely encapsulated greenhouse agriculture. It's all AI, it's robotics, it's good paying jobs. It is keeping Newberry's past in agriculture, but it's also firmly planting a foot in our future. Newberry will be an agricultural community from here on out. And I want to say thank you to the board. The tax abatement and the impact fee mitigation were crucial to our ability to entice that business to pick Newberry over other businesses. And they have said that if we got a yes vote on both of those tonight, that we could go public with that. So that's hence the press conference. We'll observe Veterans Day tomorrow, but on the 12th, we will come together and we will really announce to the world what Newberry is doing. We have a population that's slated to hit 9 billion in 2050. We can't feed 9 billion people with agricultural production today, but Harvest Singularity, the company that has selected Newberry to be home, is going to help us figure out how to do that. 22 harvests a year, no triple washing of leafy greens. So everything you're going to eat is organic, sold at a rate that is competitive with non-organic produce rates, 100% trackable. So if something is wrong, they can just pull their harvest off. They don't have to take everything off the shelf. And 95% of the water that's used goes right into the plant. So this is good for the environment, it is good for the state, and it is excellent for the city of Newberry. And it's your foresight in allowing us to have those two tools to incentivize them to pick us that allowed us to have this moment here today. Hope everybody can attend the press conference. It'll be held at UF IFAS at 9:30 on Wednesday, November 12th. And we'll have all the information out.
Are they gonna be required to have two girls college degrees?
I will text him right now and say that it's all dependent on
9 or
collard
9:30?
greens. 9:30. 9:30. 9:30. Mr. Mayor, you're going to talk about the pre-ribbon and fall festival and.
I can, yes.
Okay, and Samara, then that concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much.
Madam Attorney?
I can't follow that. So, I mean, that's,
Okay.
ethics presentation is December 18th. We do have ribs. I know that's always a question,
Fair enough.
but that's it for us.
Madam Clerk? Commissioner Mazon, let's start with you.
All right. Good deal. You sent a picture of Freddie Womack, our facility. That place looks sorry. You sent a picture to us of Freddie Womack. That place looks phenomenal. So Big J, Little J, Brandon, Carl, Tyler, those guys, those are the ones that I see. We have a phenomenal staff, but those guys are the ones that I see over at Freddie Womack. I see them over at MLK, and they do work at Champions Park, and they have other projects, and they, like I've said it before, they're like the Newberry homeowners extreme home makeover, yeah, of Newberry. Extreme home, what is it?
Extreme makeover.
One of those.
Makeover.
Yeah, of Newberry.
We know what you
because
mean.
they take what you have and then they make it look new. So it's not like they buy outside, new products. They actually, what do you call it? Refurbished. There you go. Thank you. It's refurbished and it looks phenomenal. So those guys, Big J, Little J, Brandon, Carl,
Delicious.
Tyler, good job. MLK, they have a cooking class. They're hosting a cooking class with Joy tomorrow, and they're going to be cooking pizza tomorrow. So if you guys are interested, if you want to show up, 6 o'clock, that'd be nice. And it's over at 25515 Northwest 6th Ave, 32669. You have any questions, please call 352-474-6078. That's Tasha. And I thought there was one other, but Monty, what do you call a cow spying on another cow? A stakeout. That concludes my comments.
Commissioner Long?
Golly, but thank you, Commission, today. Thrive being a part of the city is something that is great for the community. I heard a lot of times when I ran my campaign, and you hear it on Facebook, the city's growing too much. They don't care about the citizens. So having something that shows we care about the community, we care about the citizens, is something that makes the community what it is. Being compassionate about each other, caring about what each other go through and what each other deal with. It's something that makes the community small. No matter how big you get, as long as you stay involved with each other, that's what keeps a small community. So thank you guys for approving that. Thanks to staff for cleaning up after the event that happened on the 1st. I appreciate you guys for taking care of that. And other than that, everybody have a great Veterans Day tomorrow. Stay warm.
Commissioner Farnsworth?
I have nothing, but I won't be able to make it to the thing tomorrow because I'll be working.
Okay. Commissioner Coleman?
All right, went through some stuff today, and we brought this guy in, and I don't want to call it red tape, but we got 2 roads now that were built. It wasn't he made it happen. This same guy, he's also got his Goodwill tour here in town. He's going around trying to bring this community back together since the school stuff. He's also brought in the first application for the Ag Tech Park, which is, and that can was kicked down the road quite a long time. I started surveying staff probably the last 2-3 weeks, and it seems like he's actually brought the staff back together. So I want to make a motion, because I want it permanent. I believe that our new city manager, Jordan Marlowe, is the right guy, the right fit, and he's proven himself a lot quicker than I ever thought. So I know he didn't want to raise this year, but I do believe he should be his retirement should be like all the other charter officers at 5%. He shouldn't be having to lose that. So I want to make a motion to the staff to start negotiating a 5-year deal with our city manager.
If that's the will of the commission, I think that would be my responsibility to negotiate that with him.
I don't know.
Or-
I
I believe. And I'm happy to,
Was it for now 3 years?
I'm happy to do that, and then we can bring it back before the commission. I'll take a head nod on that.
I second that.
Monty's the only one that said no.
He did say no, I seen it, he wasn't going.
Okay, anything else?
No,
He still supports the fire safety.
You're not going back down that road.
no.
He's got that
No,
on the-
that's it, I'm done.
That's on your final evaluation.
Before you move on, I want to say thank you. I appreciate that a lot. And I would say all the things that on Commissioner Coleman's list are all the hard work of all the people sitting right here. And it's been my pleasure to come in and do my part to help advance y'all's vision. So I appreciate those kind of words.
You got it. As far as the week goes, tomorrow, if you haven't figured it out, we have a veterans ceremony tomorrow. We're doing a flag raising ceremony with our Congresswoman. It'll be at 9 o'clock at the Veterans Park, our new Veterans Park, and it will be led by our Mayor's Youth Council representative, Anna McGee, in the back. She's waving back there. Should last about 30 or 45 minutes or so. It's just bundle up, but braving a little bit of cold temperatures, the least we could do. Moving into Saturday, we do have the Fall Festival downtown. It runs from 10 to 4. And the City Hall, we will have a pre-ribbon cutting open house. The city manager and myself will be conducting tours, group tours, between the hours of 10 and 12 on Saturday. So we're super excited to be able to have the opportunity to show that to anybody who has not seen it yet. It's probably going to be about 95% of the way done. But it'll be a great teaser to the official ribbon cutting that we're going to do on the 24th, which will be our first commission meeting in the new chambers in the new City Hall, which by default makes this our last meeting in this chamber, guys. Ladies, our last meeting in here. Oh, I feel like we're supposed to take a picture or something. I don't know. Oh my goodness.
We gotta record it.
Yeah, we got to record. And I believe that's all I have. Did I miss anything that you can think of? All right, we are adjourned for the last time.
Nobody else is nearly as emotional.
What's that? Yeah. I don't know. It all feels very anticlimactic tonight.
Hey, man. I'll spot my love tomorrow. See that?
These were over here.